Hi, my name is Alex, and this is Travel TitBits 10. So this mini milestone is time for a slight change of tack. So I thought we should talk about other things regarding travel, because travel isn't just about nostalgia. It is the present and the future. So I thought, well, we could have an 8-part mini-series split in 2 for trains, 2 for planes, 2 for automobiles, and 2 for space. Yes, Jim, there's life. There may be life, Jim, but not as we know it. And it's kind of been this way for decades. I remember discovering my school library by mistake. Yes, a school that hides its library from its children. Well, strange that it was, I found myself in a world of books, and inside I found newspapers and cartoons. And not just ordinary cartoons, but newspaper-like style cartoons. Like the Beano and the such that were very popular and had their own printed publications. Many had been around a very long time, some in the 30s, the 40s, the 50s. And what was interesting in that was, apart from light-hearted cartoon fun, there was a lot of predictions thrown in as to what the future might hold. Would there be visitors from Mars? Would my car just fly out of the driveway? Or, very futuristic and very exciting, and would any of these things ever happen? Well, surprisingly, just about everything I saw in the cartoons seems to be within reach now, and some of these things I'm going to be discussing over the next 8 days. Let's start with trains and that infamous problem we seem to have on trains, and have for a long time: luggage. Yes, I mentioned in a previous video how we struggled to get luggage on a slam door train and practically had to climb up the side of the train and take it in turns to put on our luggage. Today we take it for granted that the stations and the railways cooperate with one another, to the point that trains and the platforms actually line up. Who'd have thought of that? Which is particularly useful now because in the old days, my parents and grandparents, they used to lug around these rectangular objects called suitcases. Occasionally, the leather straps would break and cause embarrassment. Sometimes the locks were not securely fastened. Even greater embarrassment to see one's underwear flying around platforms and stations. I can't say it was ever been a regular occurrence, but I'm sure there must have been a few embarrassing moments. But one of the things, even in my formative years, is that trains just basically didn't seem to be big enough for luggage. With the increase of overseas travel, so did the passengers and their luggage increase. It was not an uncommon thing to see that on an intercity 125 train, which were introduced in the 1970s, that they thought that two sides of the end of each carriage would suffice for luggage. But within 10 years, it was way too much. And on some routes, particularly to the southwest of England, you could barely walk up and down some of the trains with the amount of luggage people were carrying. These days, the ultra-modern trains are going somewhat to extremes at the other end, so much less seating, wide thoroughfares all the way down. And on particularly long versions of these trains, you can actually see the corridor moving as the train moves on its particular route. A bit utilitarian to me. It feels like sometimes that we've gone a little bit too far and we've lost the ability on some routes to have a bit of, I don't know, comfort. We've succumbed to the necessity of health and safety and the ease of moving our luggage around. And the luggage themselves have changed. They now have wheels, a lot of them. In fact, it's unusual for luggage not to have wheels. I've even seen adverts for wheelie trolleys that are not only battery operated, but can be used as follow-me's. A most ridiculous situation. Who would buy an electrically operated luggage shed and then whistle to it and expect your luggage to follow you around the airport? I mean, how does it know who they belong to, for goodness sake? I've not seen any in use, so I'm only making fun of the technology and the luggage. The best solution I ever saw with luggage was in New Zealand, and although New Zealand intercity rail is not as substantial as UK rail, they at least had the good sense to have luggage check-in facilities. Yes, check-in, like an airline, where they said that it was in your interest to check in your large pieces of luggage because not only that, you have a reserved seat, also like an airline. And on the platform itself, we watched as everybody's luggage went by on a special conveyor belt all the way to the luggage end of the train, where your luggage was securely locked in the luggage car. And at certain stops only, you could retrieve your luggage. And I thought that was an excellent idea. It's even deployed on some services in Australia. Again, it's mostly the long distance services. So an interesting way of looking at luggage on trains. Now, luggage at airports is a different story, and I may choose to go there on another video. See you tomorrow, where we shall venture into the supersonic era of air travel. See you then.